Well, hello, welcome again to a read through of 2 Corinthians. I got up to chapter 6, verse 14. Now, this section, verses 14 of chapter 6 up to 7, verse 1, which I will include in this recording. I don't normally split it at chapters, but this section is believed by me that it'll be an interpolation. And if you go straight from verse 12 in chapter 6 to 7:2, then it follows a little bit more smoothly. Whether this is an interpolation or not is I leave the commentators to comment on. This section does contain a number of rare words that are not elsewhere in Paul and other aspects that are not Pauline, and so it's believed by some that this was a later interpolation, probably not by Paul himself at all. Others think it might be part of another letter of Paul that's been just tucked in here when this document was edited very early on in the piece. Anyway, I leave the commentators to debate all that. I'll just translate what's here, and I'll just do up to 7:1. Me gines the heteratsuguntes apistois. Tis gar metoke dikaiasune kai anomia, and I might just pause there for the minute. So do not become, now heteratsuguntes is a participle, so it's an odd expression anyway. We're using ginomai plus a participle. The verb here, or the participle here, is modelled on the word heterotsugos, which occurs in Leviticus 19:19 and only there, and it's in reference to animals being unequally yoked with different animals. Here it's of course referring to humans, so it's something like do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. Some translators say do not be mismatched with unbelievers, but you can see the roots of it, heteros and tsuge, a yoke. For tis metoke, metoke partnership, it's from met echo, to share. So what partnership is there for righteousness and, well, lawlessness, anomia? Tis koinonia, photi, pros, and skotos is on the next page. Or what koinonia, what fellowship is there? Photi for light, pros, skotos with regard to darkness. Skotos here is a neuter third declension noun, so this is accusative after pros. So what fellowship is there for light in regard to darkness? Tiste sum phonesis Christu pros belia. Tis meris pisto meta apistu. So another rhetorical question. Sum phonesis, you can see the word symphony, of course, from this. It means agreement or concord, having the same sound. So what concord or agreement is there? Genitive here, so from Christ in regard to Belia, or Belial. The lambda and the L and R sounds often get mixed up. It's a Hebrew word. It was originally a word meaning worthlessness or ruin, but in later Jewish literature it comes to mean Belial comes to refer to satanic forces or evil spirits or even Satan. You see more of this in some of the later intertestamental apocryphal Jewish works, this reference to Belial. Tis meris pistu meta apistu, or what part or what portion is there for the one believing with the one not believing? Perhaps for the faithful with the unfaithful. Pistos is normally an adjective, but perhaps being used as a noun here. So what portion is there for the believer with the unbeliever? In other words, what do they have in common? Tis de son kratathesis nao theou meta idolon. For now, another fairly rare word. This one's only here in Biblical Greek, as with this word here, the katathesis. This word, the song katathesis is only here in Biblical Greek. It means agreement. So what agreement is there between the temple of God with, with idols? Well, perhaps with the temple of idols, or just with idols. Hemes gar naos theou esmen sontos. Kathos apen hothios hoti, and I'll just pause there. For we are, esmen, variant reading here, we are, and then it's naos in our position, we are a temple of God, of the living God, just as God said, and then hoti, perhaps hoti recitative, it's just like inverted commas. What we now get is a mixture of lots of different quotations with extra words added in. It's really a paraphrase and then a quotation from the Septuagint, basically of Leviticus 26, 11 and 12. But there is a mixture of other passages. There's bits from Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Isaiah. Very complicated. The commentaries will pull this apart and explain where each bit comes from. I just mention here it's a bit of a pastiche of various different verses from the Septuagint. En oikeso en autois kai peripateso kai esamai auton theos kai autoi esontai mu laos. I will dwell, en oikeo, I will dwell among them, and I will walk among, understand them, from peripateo plus m or n at the beginning, and I will be their God, and they will be my people. Dio ex elthati ek mesu auton kai af horistati lege kurios kai akathatu me haptaste cargo eis dexamai humas kai esamai humin es patera kai humes esesti moi es huios kai thugateras lege kurios pantokrator. And wherefore, for which reason, dia plus hot, come, this is an imperative here, it's a weak aorist imperative from exercomai, come out from their midst, and aphoristati, well, this is a subjunctive for imperative, so it's be separate from them, it's a passive, so be separate from them, says Kurios, says Yahweh, says the Lord. Do not touch that which is unclean. Do not touch the unclean thing. Another imperative from haptamai. Cargo for kaiego, and I. Eis dexamai. Eis decamai is to receive in and hence to welcome. And I will welcome you, and I will be to you as a father, and you will be to me as sons and daughters. Says Kurios, often for Yahweh without the article, but not just translated as the Lord. So says the Lord, Pantokrator, the ruler of all. Now this particular expression, this particular name here is only here in Paul. Another of the reasons why people are a bit nervous about ascribing this to Paul. You do get the word elsewhere in the book of Revelation. It's the only place you'll see it, I think, in the New Testament. So that's the end of chapter 6, but I'm going to include 7.1 because it fits in with this, and it seems that that's where the interpolation, if there is one, ends. Tutas un ekontas tas evangelias agapetoi, katharissomen hiatus apopantos molus mu sarkos kai pneumatos epiteluntes hagiosune en phobo theou. Therefore, having these promises, beloved ones, this is from Catharisdo, it's a hortatory subjunctive here. Let us cleanse ourselves. Apopantos goes with molismu. Molismos it's a late word, but it is in the Septuagint. It's connected with the verb moluno, to defile or stain, and this is just a noun formed from that, so defilement or stain. It is a Septuagint word, but it's late. So let us cleanse ourselves from all defilement or stain, defilement of flesh, perhaps defilement which comes from the flesh, this genitive here from sarx, and of the spirit, epiteluntes, making perfect hagiosune, holiness in the fear of God. Possibly by the fear of God, if we take that N as instrumental. Let's do that bit quickly. So therefore, having all the promises, beloved, let us purify ourselves from every defilement of the flesh and of the spirit, making perfect holiness either in the fear of God or by the fear of God. And that is the end of that recording, and I'll continue on with chapter 7 in the next recording.